Hello and welcome to Exam Minded YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn about Supreme Court of India in context to class 10th ICSE syllabus. So before we begin this chapter, let's imagine one thing. Like there are two neighboring states. Let's take example Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, and they are fighting over each other for the water of a river, and each of them are claiming that they have a right to use more water for their farmers. And the chief ministers of both the state are holding a meetings, but they are not able to agree on one terms. And parliament has already passed a law about sharing the water, but one state says that this law is unfair and it is violating their rights. So where do these two government are going to go? They can't go to the president, as president executes the law, and they can't go to the parliament as it made the law. So these people cannot face to executive, can't turn towards the legislature. So whom they are going to go to? They can go to the Supreme Court of India, as Supreme Court will listen to the both side and also study the constitution and then will give its judgment, and that judgment is going to be final and binding on both the parties. So this was just an example. Our Supreme Court is also protecting our fundamental rights and reviews the laws and ensures that no one, not even the government, goes beyond the constitution. That's why it is called the guardian of the constitution. I hope this introduction about Supreme Court of India is clear to you. Now let us understand that what kind of judiciary do we have. We have a single integrated judiciary. Why does we have a single integrated judiciary? What was the reason? So see, in our state we have three courts. The apex court is Supreme Court, followed by High Court, and then subordinate court. There is one Supreme Court of India, and the different states have high courts, and also the districts have subordinate courts. What was the reason to have a single integrated judiciary? See, here single integrated judiciary means that we have one hierarchy of court, that is Supreme Court at the top, High Court in states, and subordinate courts. And the laws which are followed in these courts are not different, they are united, as we have a federal system with a strong center. So to keep a law uniform throughout the country, we have an integrated system. Also, to interpret these laws in a uniform nation, like suppose two people are being held responsible for the same law. Some people have committed a crime in a border of, say, Orissa and Andhra Pradesh, and these people, one person is here, another person is here, let's call it A, let's call it B, and they have committed same type of crime. Do you think that this person is going to be executed on a different parameters and this person is going to be executed on different parameters? Is that going to be fair for that person staying in India? No. Both A and B, if they have committed same type of crime, then same law is applicable to punish these two people. So to have a uniform interpretation of the constitution and law, the single integration was required. Also, it is easy for the people to appeal, and it avoid the confusion between the people. Everyone know if they are committing any crime, or they have to ask for their powers and have to show that they have been violated of something, they can approach the subordinate court. And if they are not satisfied with the statement of the subordinate court, they can move to High Court, followed by Supreme Court, and this eliminates the confusion between the people. But if anyone's fundamental right is being questioned, then they can directly approach to the Supreme Court of India according to the Article 32. Also, to maintain the consistency in the standard of justice, we have taken the integrated system. I hope these points were clear to you. Moving forward, to understand the composition, qualification, and appointment of the Supreme Court judges. So let us understand what is the composition of the judges. So in our country, we have Chief Justice of India and 33 other judges. Total, we have 34 judges in our Supreme Court of India. Also, there are 3 different judges First one is acting Chief Justice, another one is retired judge, and fourth one is ad hoc judge. Ad hoc judge is in your syllabus. Apart from reading about Chief Justice of India and 33 other judges, we'll also see how and why ad hoc judges are appointed. So let us start learning this. We have seen that the composition is 34 judges. One is Chief Justice of India, followed by 33 other judges of the Supreme Court. So let us see what are the qualifications for these 34 judges to be appointed. First, they must be citizen of India. Next, they shall be at least 5 years as a judge of High Court. They should have been a High Court judge for 5 years, and for the 10 years they must have been High Court advocate. And also, if President feel in his opinion there is someone who is a distinguished jurist. What is distinguished jurist? That person have a greater knowledge of the law, greater understanding of the law, then President can appoint that person also as the judge. Do you think that the president is appointing this person on their own? क्या उनकी मर्जी चल रही है appoint करने पे? नहीं. As we know कि president doesn't put his discretion on this power. Then how are these people appointed? There is slight difference in the appointment of the Chief Justice and these 3 judges. When these 3 judges are being appointed, then Chief Justice of India is being consulted. प्रेसिडेंट चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया से पूछ रहे हैं कि किनको अपॉइंट करना है, एंड अलॉन्ग विथ चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया अदर जजेस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड हाई कोर्ट आर ऑल्सो बीइंग कंसल्टेड. तो प्रेसिडेंट किन किन को कंसल्ट कर रहे हैं? इन 33 जजेस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट को अपॉइंट करने के लिए चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया को एंड अदर जजेस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड हाई कोर्ट, जिसको हम लोग कोलिजियम कहते हैं. नेक्स्ट, टू अपॉइंट दिस चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया, प्रेसिडेंट किनको कंसल्ट कर रहे होते हैं? अदर जजेस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड हाई कोर्ट, एंड अलॉन्ग विथ काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स आर बीइंग कंसल्टेड. आई होप दीज पॉइंट्स आर क्लियर टू यू. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, who is appointing them? It is clear that they are appointed by the Chief Justice of India. Now let's see this ad hoc judge. Ad hoc judge, why this person as an ad hoc judge they are coming? First of all, any person who is a judge of High Court can be appointed as a ad hoc judge, and for how long they can be appointed? As much as they are required. Why they are required? बिकॉज कई बार ऐसा होता है कि कुछ जजेस छुट्टी पे चले गए हैं या फिर उनकी अटेंडेंस कम हो गई है, दे आर नॉट प्रेजेंट देयर बेसिकली, एंड द वर्कलोड हैज़ इंक्रीज टू, एंड वो कोरम मेंटेन नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, अटेंडेंस मेंटेन नहीं हो पा रही है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में, देन दीज एड हॉक जजेस आर अपॉइंटेड. इनको अपॉइंट कौन करता है? चीफ जस्टिस, बाय कंसल्टिंग टू दी here the president is appointing ad hoc judge in consultation to the Chief Justice of India. And do remember which people can be appointed as ad hoc judge? The High Court judges can be appointed as the ad hoc judge. I hope these points are clear to you. Moving forward, what is the term of office for the Supreme Court judges? The term of office is until they attain the years 65 years of age. Also, if judge wants to resign, then they may submit their resignation to the president. And can these judges be removed from their office? Yes, they can be removed, but is it very easy to remove them? For your knowledge, let me tell you that no judge till date, either of Supreme Court or High Court, have been removed till date. So how these people are being removed? They can be removed on the ground of the proved misbehavior or incapacity by the president. But again, president अपनी मर्जी से किसी को नहीं निकाल सकते हैं. Impeachment होगा इनका, very similar to how president was impeached. So discussion होगी, एक हाउस में ये recommendation जाएगा, that house will look upon that, and if उस हाउस में मेजॉरिटी की सपोर्ट मिल गई, देन ये सेम अनदर हाउस में पास होगा, इंक्वायरी बैठेगी, इंक्वायरी सस्टेन हो जाती है, देन अगेन रिकमेंडेशन पास होगा उस हाउस में, और मेजॉरिटी उस हाउस की अगर पास कर देती है, देन दीज पीपल कैन बी रिमूव्ड. आई होप दिस इम्पीचमेंट ऑफ द जजेस आर क्लियर टू यू. फर्स्ट, in either house of the parliament, this impeachment is going, and if that house is passing with the majority, then it goes to the another house, inquiry takes place, and if that inquiry is sustainable, then that house passed that with the majority, and president removes the judge of the Supreme Court. Now let us understand where is the seat of Supreme Court. You might have heard that there is a building in Delhi which is called as Supreme Court of India. Yeah, Supreme Court sits there, but it is not necessary that every time they have to sit just there only. That place can be decided by Chief Justice of India with the approval of President. कल को अगर हमारे चीफ जस्टिस का मन करता है कि वो दिल्ली में ना बैठकर चेन्नई में बैठे, then can they sit? Yes, they can sit. With the approval of President, they can sit there. I hope these points are clear to you. Now moving forward to the next point, which is independence of judiciary from the control of executive and legislature. See, understand that executive, legislative and judiciary are the three pillars of the democracy. If they are working independently to each other and also keeping the check and balance among each other, then the democracy could be withheld with the stronger power. Executive people are executing the laws, legislatures are making that law, and judiciary is seeing them that they are doing their work under the constitution's periphery. They are not misusing their power out of the constitution. I hope these points are clear. Now let us understand each points, that how they are being independent. First, appointment of the judges. As we have seen, who is appointing? President is appointing, but वो अपनी मर्जी से नहीं कर रहे हैं, चीफ जस्टिस से एंड अदर जजेस ऑफ सुप्रीम कोर्ट एंड हाई कोर्ट से कंसल्ट करके कर रहे हैं. सो अपॉइंटमेंट में लेजिस्लेटिव एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव का ज़्यादा से नहीं है. रिसेंटली इन 2015 देयर वॉज लॉ पास्ड इन द पार्लियामेंट कि हम एक न्यू सिस्टम बनाते हैं जिसमें प्रेसिडेंट, प्राइम मिनिस्टर, लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन, होम मिनिस्टर्स विल बी पार्टिसिपेटिंग एंड इलेक्टिंग दिस. बट सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि नहीं, दिस इज़ अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हो, बिकॉज इलेक्टिंग अस इज़ इन आवर हैंड एंड दैट विल इंश्योर द इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ द जुडिशरी. इसकी वजह से अपॉइंटमेंट ऑफ द जजेस अभी भी जजेस के हाथ में ही है. रिमूवल ऑफ द जजेस. सी, removal of the judges is also not easy. We have seen when there is a ground of proved misbehavior or incapacity, then the impeachment that take place, and that impeachment requires the majority of the house, which is not very easy to attain. Next, if we see the security of tenure, then judges can remain in the office till they attain the age of 65 years. And if they have to be removed, they can be removed on the grounds of proved misbehavior or incapacity. So they have a security of tenure. It's not like that anyone can ask them to resign so easily. Okay, moving forward to the security of salaries and service of condition. See, if there is financial emergency, then the salary can be reduced. But apart from that, no matter what the condition is, their salary cannot be reduced to their disadvantage. जो भी सैलरी उनको मिल रहा है वो उससे इंक्रीज़ किया जा सकता है डिपेंडिंग ऑन द इन्फ्लेशन, बट उनका रिडक्शन नहीं करवाया जा सकता है. ऑल्सो दे हैव द फ्रीडम टू अनाउंस द डिसीजन एंड डिस्क्रीज. किसी भी केस में वट एवर काइंड ऑफ ओपिनियन दे होल्ड अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट एंड वट एवर डिसीजन्स दे आर मेकिंग, दे कैन नॉट बी क्वेश्चन ऑन दैट. And especially their conduct, like what kind of judgment they have given in what kind of cases, that cannot be discussed on the floor of the parliament and neither in the media also. The decision cannot be discussed. Case can be discussed, but their decision cannot be discussed. Also, these courts have the power to punish for the contempt of court. What is contempt of court? Suppose someone is passing a derogatory remark and that remark is making them lose their confidence in the public. These type of things comes under the contempt of the court, and it has Supreme Court itself has a power to punish for the contempt of the court. I hope these points are clear to you. Moving forward, they have full control over the procedure of work and establishment. That means that Supreme Court is free to decide इट्स ओन प्रोसीजर ऑफ वर्क. वो कैसे काम करना चाह रहे हैं, कब बैठना चाह रहे हैं, कैसे एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन चलाना चाह रहे हैं अपने कोर्ट का. दे हैव द कंप्लीट पावर ओवर इट. ऑल्सो एज आई टोल्ड दैट लेजिस्लेचर्स लाइक पार्लियामेंट कैन नॉट डिस्कस, लाइक देयर शुड बी नो डिस्कशन इन द लेजिस्लेचर ऑन कंडक्ट ऑफ जजेस. जजेस कैसे डिसीजंस दे रहे हैं, क्या सोच कर डिसीजन दे रहे हैं, इट कैन नॉट बी डिस्कस्ड इन द हाउस ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट. ऑल्सो they are prohibited of practice after retirement. जस्ट इमेजिन कोई सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जज है एंड किसी MP या MLA का केस आया हुआ है उनके पास में, एंड इट इज़ देयर लास्ट ईयर ऑफ अपॉइंटमेंट, लाइक वो अब बस 64.5 ईयर्स के, एंड आफ्टर सर्टेन मंथ्स ही इज़ गोइंग टू रिटायर. एंड अगर ये प्रोविजन रहेगा कि these judges can be appointed into some committees or some another places, then it might be this, that they may not be taking their decisions in a fair manner. इसके वजह से they are prohibited for practice after retirement. They cannot practice the law after the retirement. I hope these points are clear to you. Moving forward to the next topic, which is jurisdiction and power of Supreme Court. So what do you think? Where does the jurisdiction of Supreme Courts lie, and what powers does it have? So let us understand it, that jurisdiction is that power of a court that exercise it to carry out the judgment and enforce law. Like जिस भी तरीके से वो अपने जजमेंट्स को कैरी आउट कर पा रहे हैं, जजमेंट्स दे पा रहे हैं एंड लॉ को इन्फोर्स करवा पा रहे हैं कंट्री को, उसको हम जुरिडिक्शन कहते हैं. आई होप मीनिंग ऑफ जुरिडिक्शन इज क्लियर टू यू. There are different types of jurisdiction, which is original, appellate, advisory, and registry. Let us understand these jurisdiction one by one. What is original jurisdiction? It is the power to hear and determine a dispute in the first instance. What is first instance? Let's see. There were 3 courts: High Court, Subordinate Court, and Supreme Court in the head. Few matters go to the subordinate court, then to High Court, and then to Supreme Court. But there are very few matters which Supreme Court is hearing it on first instance. सबसे पहले Supreme Court के पास ही पहुँच रहा है. As in introduction I told you that fundamental rights से related कुछ भी होता है तो we can directly go to Supreme Court. So such kind of things are coming under Supreme Court's original jurisdiction. Let's see what are Supreme Court's original jurisdiction. अगर center and state के बीच में कोई dispute हो जाए, suppose center is saying that certain kind of education policies to be implemented in the states, and state have their own education policies, as this is a subject of concurrent list. So there might be a case where dispute has arisen. Then this dispute can be resolved by visiting the Supreme Court. I hope center and state and interstate dispute is clear. It lies under original jurisdiction. Also, if there is such an exception to this, if there is a dispute which is arising out of the treaty or agreement which is in operation, then such things is not under the first instance. Also, in certain other matters such as interstate water disputes, matters are referred to the Finance Commission. There are different commissions which have been made, and these disputes are referred there. Also, if there is an adjustment of certain expenses and pensions between the union and state, suppose union gives certain kind of expenses to the state, and if there is certain kind of dispute, then they are not supposed to go to the Supreme Court. Okay. And next thing, protection of fundamental right. If anyone's fundamental right is being violated, then they can approach the Supreme Court. But recently Supreme Court has also said that first they can also visit the High Court also. If there are certain transfer of cases from the lower houses, then Supreme Court has this power to transfer any case from the lower house to the upper house. Okay, so power of transferring the cases is in the hand of the Supreme Court. Also, to interpret the constitution, like government is making something and interpreting the constitution in a certain form, then Supreme Court has the power to interpret that constitution according to the way it feels like interpreting what our writers, हमारे जो constituent assembly के members थे, उन्होंने क्या सोच करके वो certain provisions लिखा है in the constitution, वो interpret करने का, वो समझने का right किसके पास है? Supreme Court के पास है. And it also lies with the High Court as said by the Supreme Court. Okay, next jurisdiction is appellate jurisdiction. What is appellate jurisdiction? It is the power to grant the special leave to appeal against the judgment delivered by any court in the country. Like अगर suppose lower court आपको डेथ सेंटेंस दे देती है, फांसी की सज़ा दे देती है, then आपके पास ये पावर है कि आप हाई कोर्ट में या फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट में अपील कर सकते हो. दैट इज़ अ अपेलेट जुरिडिक्शन. सो विच काइंड ऑफ केसेस हैव द कोर्ट ऑफ अपील? इट इज़ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल केसेस. जैसा भी नेचर का हो, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल केसेस हैव दिस अपील. ओके, नेक्स्ट इज सिविल केसेस. In civil cases, the appeal lies to the Supreme Court, but it must be satisfied. Like हाई कोर्ट कहे कि हाँ दिस इज सच अ नेचर ऑफ केस जो कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट को देखना चाहिए, देन इट गोज टू द हैंड ऑफ द सिविल केसेस. Okay, and what these cases involve, that cases involves a substantial question of law of general importance, and also the question needs to be decided by the Supreme Court. Okay, so certification of High Court is required for like criminal cases. See, there are two types of appeal in criminal cases which lies with the Supreme Court. First, if without the certificate of the High Court and with the certificate of the High Court. So let us understand where certificate of the High Court is not required in criminal case, where the High Court has reserved the judgment of acquittal given to the lower court and punished the accused with a death sentence. अगर High Court किसी को death sentence दे रहा है तब वो without High Court के certificate के भी Supreme Court के पास जा सकते हैं. दूसरा, in a case which is withdrawn by the High Court from the subordinate court and sentenced the accused to death. जब हाई कोर्ट ने डायरेक्टली केस सबऑर्डिनेट कोर्ट से ले लिया एंड उसको डेथ सेंटेंस दे दिया. बेसिकली जब हाई कोर्ट डेथ सेंटेंस दे रहे हैं तब आप डेथ सेंटेंस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट अप्रोच कर सकते हो विदाउट द सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ हाई कोर्ट. आई होप दीज पॉइंट्स आर क्लियर टू यू. And in all other type of judgments, High Court certification is required to reach to Supreme Court. Now let's see the advisory and registry jurisdiction. Let's see one by one. What is advisory jurisdiction? See, there are certain cases when president feels like he is not able to understand that what constitution is saying. Like different kind of scenario or different type of instances arises in the tenure of the president when he don't understand that what kind of constitution stand he has to take. Then for that he can ask the advice of the Supreme Court, and that lays under the advisory jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. What is the advisory jurisdiction? See, Supreme Court may take a certain stand in one of the case, but when he is reviewing that case on the another cases, he may change his instance. For example, in our first Constitution Amendment Act, it was held that the preamble is not completely a part of the Constitution. But in 1973, Supreme Court held that it is a part of the Constitution. So the Supreme Court is revising its judgment, correcting its judgment. That is revisory jurisdiction. Okay, now let's understand the judicial review. So what is the judicial review of a Supreme Court? Anything which legislatures are doing or executives are performing and Supreme Court feels that it is not on the lines of the Constitution or it is against the constitutional norms, then the Supreme Court can take over that case, review the provisions of it and can declare it to be null and void. Okay, that is the judicial review of the Supreme Court. Okay, why do you think that judicial review was required? See, Constitution was written by certain group of people and they are dead now, but Constitution's word could be interpreted in different formats by the different people, those who are present now, and they might be interpreting in a wrong format. To see that no one is having an absolute power, judicial review was the most important provision given in our Constitution. Now let us understand the function of the Supreme Court. Before moving to the function of the Supreme Court, let us also understand one point, which is court of record. What is court of record? You might have heard in certain cases that some people say that in such kind of a case that other person got the bail, so I should also be getting. So what is this? Why that? How this person is knowing that other person has got the bail in so and so case? It is because of the court of record. Supreme Court has to record all the things. Whatever judgment it is giving, it has to keep a record of that. And also court of record has two implications, that its judgment and orders are preserved as record. They all are kept as a record and these can be produced in any court. Suppose if Supreme Court has given certain kind of judgment in similar kind of a case, then it can be presented in subordinate court also, high court also, and in that case, in that court, that is Supreme Court also. Also, if a person commits a contempt of court, that court has the authority to punish him and no authority can deprive the court of this right. Okay, I hope the court of record point is clear to you. Moving forward to the functions of the Supreme Court. So what functions does the Supreme Court of India have? It has the function of the settlement of disputes. Okay, so what kind of settlement of disputes does Supreme Court have? On original parameters, Supreme Court can settle the disputes of the center, between the center government and the state government, or the union territories, or between the different states and union territories. And besides its original jurisdiction with this regard, it also has the right to enforce the fundamental right. It has to make sure that fundamental rights are being ensured. And also सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज़ द पावर एक कोर्ट के केसेस को लेकर के दूसरे कोर्ट पे ट्रांसफ़र करने का. लाइक you might have heard recently that there was many cases filed against Rahul Gandhi, and in different states, different courts, it was impossible for him to appear. So he requested Supreme Court to transfer all these cases in one court. So that powers lies with the Supreme Court कि वो different cases को किसी different court में transfer कर सकते हैं. Okay, on appeal, what function do they perform? If Supreme Court deals with appeals which are made to it in respect to the original jurisdiction, जो भी appeal जो original jurisdiction के context में उनसे किया जा रहा है वो उसको करते हैं. जैसे कि कोई interstate या state center या union and territories and states के बीच में dispute हो गया है तो वो उसको execute करते हैं, उसके case को take over करते हैं. Also using its appellate jurisdiction, it hears appeals involving interpretation of the constitution on civil and criminal cases. Like कोई चीज़ नहीं समझ में आ रहा है दूसरे कोर्ट्स को कि how does the stand to be taken, then Supreme Court can intervene in that. Also appeal by special leave, like recently in Manipur, very heinous crime occurred against the woman, then Supreme Court took it under the special leave under his consideration to make sure that justice is delivered to those women. Okay, and what are the enforcement of the fundamental rights done by the Supreme Court? There are fundamental rights in part 3 of the Constitution. Anyone among that is being violated, then by quo warranto, certiorari, habeas corpus, mandamus or prohibition, Supreme Court can take hold of it. So what are these quo warranto, habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto? These are the writs. Writs are like in a writing statement, a notice kind of a thing given by a Supreme Court to the public or to the government or to the other courts. What do habeas corpus means? Corpus means body. So habeas corpus is to have the body. So अगर suppose किसी कोई मिसिंग कहीं हो चुका है या फिर वो इंसान कहीं पे प्रेजेंट ही नहीं हो रहा है और उसको आने की ज़रूरत है, देन सुप्रीम कोर्ट कह सकते हैं कि उस इंसान को लेकर के आओ, उसकी बॉडी को लेकर के आओ, मेक दैट पर्सन बी प्रेजेंट इन फ्रंट ऑफ हिम, इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी. ओके, ऑल्सो हर्बस कॉर्पस हाई कोर्ट के पास भी प्रेजेंट होता है. ओके, मूविंग फॉरवर्ड टू द नेक्स्ट रिट विच इज mandamus. Mandamus means we order, which is command given by the superior court to the lower court. And why they are commanding? Suppose certain government organization are not performing their function, so the mandamus writ is used to order them to perform that work. Next writ is writ of prohibition. Prohibition मतलब मना करना. They are not allowing to do something. This is order to superior court, by superior court to the lower court to stop that proceeding. Certain kind of cases has taken over. कोई जो subordinate court है उसने certain kind of case take over किया है and Supreme Court wants to stop it कि वो case को ना ले, probably transfer कर दे या कुछ हो, तो उसके लिए they can use the writ of prohibition to prohibit them from executing that course. Okay, next one is writ of certiorari. What is writ of certiorari? So it is issued by the superior court to the judicial authority desiring to be informed of what is going on. Supreme Court को चाहिए कि उनको जानना है कि क्या चल रहा है इस केस में, then वो writ of certiorari यूज़ कर सकते हैं जानने के लिए कि क्या चल रहा है. Okay, next is quo warranto. That is like by what order. वो ऐसे लोगों के लिए इशू होता है जो प्रॉबेबली गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर्स हो, एंड ये जानने के लिए कि आपने किस ऑर्डर से सर्टेन कोई काम किया गया है जो अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल है, देन सुप्रीम कोर्ट यूजिंग दिस रिट विच इज़ क्यू वारंट टू आस्क देम बाय व्हाट ऑर्डर आर यू डूइंग दिस. ओके, I hope these points were clear. Okay, Supreme Court also has an administrative and supervisory functions. What are the administrative and supervisory functions of the Supreme Court? They can appoint the officers and staff of the Supreme Court as made by the Chief Justice of India. Also, these courts make rules regarding the conduct of the advocates. What kind of dress do advocates have to wear? How they have to appear before the law? These all things are made by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court also ruled that Chief Justice of India's recommendation to transfer judges of High Court was not binding on the government. Okay, so it's not binding. That Chief Justice of India have said that it is not binding. Okay, and if the recommendation was made without consulting the senior most judges of the Supreme Court, then it is surely for not binding. Like judges से पूछना पड़ेगा Chief Justice को, वो सिर्फ अपनी मर्जी से नहीं कर सकते हैं. Supreme Court simplified procedure in the area of public interest litigation, which is PIL. Okay, so these were the points of the Supreme Court of India. Let us revise this chapter in a quick glance. First, we have a single integrated system of court. Why? To have a uniformity of the laws. Okay, and what was the composition? Chief Justice of India, 33 other judges. Who is appointing them? President is appointing. How? By the consultation with the judges of Supreme Court and High Court. Okay, the 33 judges were appointed by the consultation of the Chief Justice also. Chief Justice is appointed by consultation of the other judges of Supreme Court and High Court. How long do they hold the office? Till the years of 65 years. And the judges can be removed by the president by the process of impeachment on the grounds of proved misbehavior or incapacity. What were the qualifications? Citizen of India, 5 years High Court judge, 10 years High Court advocate, and a distinguished jurist in the opinion of the president. They had independence of judiciary. That is, they are appointing. The judges are not appointed by the either legislatures or the executive. The president is appointing them after the consultation. Also, the removal of the judges is by the president through the impeachment on the grounds of proven misbehavior. They had the security of tenure and the security of salaries were also given to them. Also, they had the freedom to announce any decision in the court. Punishment for contempt of the court lies in their hand, and no discussion in the legislature according to their conduct could be taken place. Also, prohibition of practice after the retirement. They are not allowed to practice after the retirement. They had different jurisdiction, which were original jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, advisory, revisory. Also, they had the power of judicial review, keep the court of record, and also they were the guardian of the constitution. They had two functions, basically settling the disputes between the different bodies, and they had the power to enforce the fundamental right. I hope these points are clear to you. Thank you.